All right, everyone, welcome back. For this week's segment, we have Hail Mary. For those of you that don't know how this works, in this segment, Caden or I, or as the case may be, our very special guest, Devin, will be giving our hottest take. It is our desperation throw. We're just launching it up there. We are Anthony Richardson, just hoping that someone runs underneath this thing. So Devin, he is a freshman at Kent State and a avid Chiefs fan, though he claims it is not bandwagon. So Devin's going to bring us his hot take today, his Hail Mary. Devin, take it away.
Oh man, I had two good ones. I mean, the NFL this week, week one it was a lot this weekend. So I think I think I have to go with probably Tyree Hill. I think with the cop situation, I think he's gonna have some type of like redemption arc from the whole entire situation. Since like he had what was it? He had over 130 yards rushing maybe or running. I'm not sure exactly. I know he had one touchdown and so forth throughout that game. I think he did pretty well. I think he's going to somehow make. I think with that situation right before the game, especially, I believe it was about 2 3 hours before the game when it happened. I'm not sure how close it was, but hopefully that situation has settled down. Probably not. I'm not sure, but I think with that situation, I think he's going to definitely be like a very high end player when it comes to getting the Dolphins to the Super Bowl closer, solely based off last year they did pretty well. I thought they were going to be huge contenders, like definitely against like the Chiefs, probably like the AFC final. Of course, they weren't there, but I really thought they were going to have a tougher. I thought we were going to have a better, like a tougher opponent when we versed them later of last season, but they were a little iffy. But I think this year, I think with Tyreek Hill, I think he's definitely going to have something uh, to really bring the Dolphins to that playoff spot. Probably AFC final, probably versus us more than likely. I think with the situation and so forth. I don't want to randle on too much, but I think that's what I can see. I think he's definitely going to shape the league and mostly the Dolphins a lot through this season.
I really like that. I mean, the Dolphins have struggled, like you said. They've been good regular season teams, and then they struggle once they get deep in the season. Once they get to the playoffs, I like that. That's something you don't hear a lot is Dolphins going really far, going to the AFC Championship, and absolutely, if they're going to do that, that's going to be through Tyreek Hill and that whole redemption arc after what happened last week. I love that. I think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's actually three Hail Marys in there. I mean, we had the Tyreek Hill redemption arc. He's gonna absolutely go crazy. We had the Dolphins making it to the AFC Championship game, but then we had the implicit assumption there that the Chiefs were also going to be in the AFC Championship game.
I don't know. Maybe it's just biasm. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. It's that feeling inside me. You know, I know I have my Chiefs stuff with me. I need to buy a actual jersey. My ish jersey is at home in PA. So yeah,
But he's not a biased Chiefs fan at
Not a bias.
all.
I am not a Chiefs fan. We won the Super Bowl, and I won my first fantasy football. That does not mean anything. That does not mean anything.
Not not correlated to anyone. So you became a fan before they won the Super Bowl that year, right?
Yeah, it was
Wasn't
that
after.
it was that
Okay.
same year. My grandmother, she was born in Kansas City, so she supports them like any other football team. So she said, maybe just support the Chiefs. I'm like, sure. So I watched them. I'm like, I'm gonna just cheer on them. Like, oh, let's go. And they're like making comebacks in like the playoffs. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay with them. Then they win the Super Bowl. I'm like, I'm just gonna stay like it. Then I win the fantasy football league. I'm like, I'm not sure this is a sign, or is it just a coincidence, or is it just my grandmother paying off people to basically say, "Hey, he's becoming a Chiefs fan. We'll just make sure this happens so he can stay
Gotta
as a
make
Chiefs
sure he
fan."
stays it. Love that. Love that. Maybe there's a little bit more bias sneaking in there with the Tyreek Hill pick too. Just picking former Chiefs players to go ahead and
No, I don't think so. It's not like I have buddies who are telling me my ear at all.
Oh, for sure. All right, that's a fantastic Hail Mary. I have one really quickly, and then we'll sign off here. For me, if you listen to the episode, if you can look around me, you'll notice I'm a Browns fan, and everyone in the entire league, including us Browns fans, are reacting a lot because Deshaun Watson played terrible, and there are calls for should we start Jameis in the upcoming weeks? What should we do here? Here's my Hail Mary for the week. Deshaun Watson will never return to form. People have been waiting for Deshaun Watson to return to form. We all know that he was suspended for violating league conduct. And then people were like, okay, he hasn't played in a couple of years, guys. Got him some slacks. He's got to work off the rust. It's all good. And then he didn't really work off the rust. And you're like, okay, it's fine though, because he's got to work off the rust. And then he didn't work off the rust. And you're like, no, it's fine though, because he's got to work off the rust. And then, oh, he's injured last year. He hurt his shoulder. He hurt his side. He hurt his other shoulder. Oh, he has the flu. It's just all these excuses all the time. Deshaun Watson will never return to form. He is an absolute bank robber, and he knows it. He has been playing terrible for the last 3 years. He has played all of 12 games in the last 2 years for the Browns. Okay? He has not played games. He has, in my opinion, my professional opinion, he has feigned injuries to not play. I don't think he cares anymore. He knows that he is not getting paid after this. When his contract with the Browns expires, he is never getting another NFL contract this size, and I don't think he'll play again. I think that he knows that this money is guaranteed. It doesn't matter anymore. He is going to ride this till it dies. There's another lawsuit against him that just came out from the 2020 era when all the rest of them came out. I don't think he cares anymore. Deshaun Watson will never return to form, and it's time for the Browns to move on. I understand we owe him a lot of money, but let's start Jameis. That's my hot take.
I like it. I mean, watching last week, it doesn't look. But yeah, I completely would you agree with what you're saying about the whole injuries part. Like a lot of it could be if he has the slightest little hang now. Oh, I have to sit out this week. Like I can't play, can't risk injury, and I don't think that's crazy at all. What do you think, Devin?
I think in just general, from what I can hear, it's that he's just a money grabber. He's just collecting money. He's like when you think about soccer players, there's a lot of them that have injuries around certain times, or they're just injury prone, and they're there just to make money. They get millions of dollars every year, and then they have maybe one-ish game. They do decent for one, give it like, oh, here's his redemption arc. He's about to win it all. He's going to carry this team all the way through. No, doesn't. Next game gets injured, fraction, something. He's that player that will be injury prone, he knows it. He knows that he's going to be injury prone. He knows he's going to get an injury, and that he's just collecting on money. He's like any other player that you've seen in the past with past NFL players and other athletes around the world. He's just there to collect money, honestly.
Yeah.
I like it.
Obviously completely agree with you there, Devin. He's just here to collect his bag, and I hope that for some reason his competitive drive sparks again, but I don't think it'll happen. All right,
you still took the Browns to beat the Jags on Sunday.
Yeah, well, you never know. Our defense is really good. Maybe I'm picking with my heart. This is probably the last week I pick them, unless they prove me wrong. All right, that'll wrap it up for this episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and thank you so much to Devin for joining us. It was an absolute pleasure having you. Pleasure hearing your take. We will catch you guys next time in week 2.